you used to really be scared here.
Johnny.
You're still afraid.
Stop it now. I mean it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of here.
Johnny.
Just doing a quick audio test right now. No big deal, just making sure that the microphone's working and crap. I have like a whole lineup where we could just sit back and talk about Night of the Living Dead. I wanted to focus on like Night of the Living Dead's legacy with especially with the Return of the Living Dead series, because there's like without going into too much detail right now, but there was a split between, was it Russo and Romero, and Romero went on to do Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Diaries of the Dead, all those, and Russo, he went on to do the Return of the Living Dead series, which introduces the new rules. They're amazing. Punk rock shit. They're so good. I like them all. I like Romero's continuation. Return of the Living Dead's good stuff too. So we'll talk a little bit about it eventually. This will probably be something I'll do starting next week, probably Monday or Tuesday, maybe, if I'm up for it. If the microphone holds out and if I don't get too pissed off at it. Since Night of the Living Dead is in the public domain, I figured I could have that running in the background, and hopefully its desktop audio, is low enough where the microphone isn't all shit. If it is, or if it's not, I'll after I shut this stream down, I'll pull up the VOD and see what it looks like. And if this video, basically the little video doc goes long enough, I'll break it into little pieces and put it on YouTube. That'd be cool, I guess. Stream looks so busy with all the little characters and stuff running around, but I don't mind. I think it's kind of charming in a janky kind of way. Yeah, but we can give play-by-play shots here. Everything about her role in it. There's tons of shit, tons of stuff we can talk about. We can go into like the racial tensions, that Well, the actor's name is Dwayne Jones, but he plays Ben. You know, some people say it's groundbreaking choice or whatever, but the script didn't really specify Ben's race. But after they saw what a great job he was doing, it's almost like the movie. The movie's better because of it. You know, of course, it goes into, you know, all the bougie stuff. You know, we're talking about, you know, the critique on human nature, the fear of the unknown, stuff like that. That's what Romero's zombie films really touches on. Now, when we switch over to Return of the Living Dead, though, it's a totally different game. You know, it's funny, dark, gory. You know, to watch Night of the Living Dead, and some people might have experienced it that way, where they watched Night of the Living Dead and they went straight to Return of the Living Dead, you know, thinking that it was a true sequel. You know, and it kind of is, because it's got the same mom and dad, you know, whatever you want to consider Russo. You know, it's the natural progression of it in one direction. You know, and, you know, like I said, there's so much to talk about. There's, you know, Romero created the modern zombie. You know, because I think up until this point, he was just calling them ghouls. But just the way it goes, you know, that actually ties into the reason why Night of the Living Dead is public domain. Because I don't know if anyone's ever heard the story before, but it was originally called Night of the Flesh Eaters. But they thought that name might have been a little bit too aggressive for regular folk or something. So when they changed it to Night of the Living Dead, they didn't update the copyright. There's a little more ins and outs on it, but because of that, they hardly made any money off of it. You can go to any store in the world and look at their DVD section. There's always a copy of Night of the Living Dead by some other production company, because it's free to make. You can copy it, you can edit it, you can change the soundtrack, you can do new voiceovers, you can do whatever you want to with it. So, the great experiment with especially with new people doing film edits and stuff like that, to have all that content available for them to just, you know, kind of fuck around with.
A lot more of them as soon as they find out about us.
The truck is out of gas.
This pump out here is locked. Is there a key? We can try.
There's old Ben.
Get some gas. Is there a key?
Tom Savini, he's a special effects makeup guy. In the 90s, he goes and does a remake of Night of the Living Dead, and it's in color. I think it holds up just as good. It's some of the story changes a little bit, but Ben in that movie is played by Tony Todd. Tony Todd's one of the greatest like B actors. I don't know if he would be even considered a B actor, because he's done some really good stuff. I mean, his Candyman series is some of the best, you know, horror out, you know, especially back in the day.
We've got to get out of here. We have to get where there's some other people.
Well, I know a little bit about the Night of the Living Dead stuff. I don't know if I could sit here and watch it, and
I'll see if I can find some food.
I could do like this raw dog in it. I may need to make some notes. There's some movies out there that I could give like a play-by-play, like scene for scene commentary, but I don't know. I've watched Night of the Living Dead probably a couple hundred times. I've made it a goal to like watch either the black and white version or the remake every Halloween, and I've done it for countless Halloweens. At least 15 or so 15 or 20 maybe by now.
What's happening?
Let's see. Yeah, it's been about 10 minutes. It's 10:30 in the a.m. right now, and don't have much more to talk about. I'll stay around just a little bit longer.
Two of them. There are two of them out there. Have you seen any more around here?
The frame rate on the movie is actually kind of low for some reason. I downloaded a copy of it. I need to probably find a better version. There's probably an upscaled HD, super version that's a lot cleaner. I saw a version of Night of the Living Dead once that was done. It was just the regular movie, except they put like a green filter on it. I think it was all green. Really weird. They've done countless. There's a version of Night of the Living Dead that has an extended scene at the end of it, where they, there's like a preacher talking about the end of the world, and ridiculous. It's just a lot of people cut their teeth on it, because like I said, it's all free. That's one thing I don't get to with like modern video games. Even any video game you can think of that has something to do with zombies in it. Sooner or later, they break out of that Romero zombie mold. Give you like zombies that spit, zombies that explode, big tanky fat zombies, or ones that can grab you and they shoot their tongue out and bind you, drag you off in the unknowns or whatever. And there's a place for it, but I don't see the point. Because these motherfuckers, these zombies, one or two might not be a big deal, but when you get 4 or 5 on you, you're done. It doesn't matter. You don't need ones that explode. You're gonna run out of resources and you're done. There's not a lot of games really that I've seen that capture that. Just plain old generic slow walking zombies. If there are some that never break from that original Romero mold, let me know, because it's almost like they run out of ideas or something. How to incorporate them into the story or whatever.
Don't look at it.
So here, I don't know the original budget, but here I was just kind of looking at some like bullet points about the movie. They said that it grossed over $30 million worldwide, and that was before people started to figure out that because of the error in distribution, people could play the movie without having to pay any royalties. But at the same time, it was a good thing because everyone and their mom, like I said, could publish it, release it, play it, and do whatever they wanted to with it. It increased visibility greatly. There's no movie out there that has the coverage of Night of the Living Dead. It's everywhere, and because of that, it's populated probably every genre, anytime you can think of it. It's like it's so funny or so cool to be able to step back and look at the creation of the zombies. With vampires, you have to pull out old dusty tomes and go back to some Western European country to figure out hey, they used to put cages on over the graves to keep people from jumping out of it. It's like, when did that start? Well, there's a recording, it's back in the 1500s or whatever. Same thing with vampire or werewolves or any kind of like urban, ancient urban myths or whatever. You don't know the source of it, but you can say, hey, zombies, 19, was it 68 or 64? What was it?
Something we can nail this place up.
68, yeah. 68's when good old slow moving,
I know you're afraid.
brain smashing
I'm afraid too.
zombies came
But we
around.
have to try to board the house up together. Now, I'm going to board up the windows and the doors. Do you understand? We'll be all right here. We'll be all right here until someone comes to rescue us. But we'll have to work together.
I think
You'll have to help me. Now, I want you to go in and
The only
get some
thing
wood
that's
so I
kind
can
of-
board the place up. Do you understand? Okay.
I don't know. I think Barbara's character here, she never grows, never develops. She stays like this little comatose mouse throughout the whole thing. And it's fine, I mean, we need to show how people would react to some cataclysmic event like this. And there's people that would shut down. They would regress back to earlier times. Their memories wouldn't be there. They would block it out. One thing they did with the new movie or the remake, I think it was 1990. I could look it up. The Tom Savini version. They made her into like a stronger character. In fact, he's the only one that survives. And it's a great movie, and it doesn't take away from the original, but it shows that maybe it was something to do with the time that was made in. It's definitely not woke or anything, and we can go into that eventually. I mean, that's a soapbox issue I can jump on, because a lot of people believe that women have been mistreated in movie cinemas, that they're all weak and fragile people or whatever. But there's countless movies especially the 80s, where the women are so strong. They're like, Ripley from the Alien series. I mean, she's never once, she's not a scream queen. She's not a little baby and she doesn't have any heroes that come bust through the door and, take her off to get married or whatever. There's tons of it. And especially the schlocky, like, 80s B movies. There's tons of like barbarian movies like that, where the women are just head shoulders above the men cast, and that's part of 1990s Night of the Living Dead. It shows that times changed a little bit. It's still set. I don't know exactly what time it's set in, but it does still feel like a period piece though. And I bet it is. I bet it's still set in there. There's some tension between Ben and one of the other characters, where the other character was about to drop the big N bomb, and Ben's like, "What are you gonna say? Come on, say it! I dare you!" Like, modern day, that doesn't happen, So maybe it is still like a period piece. We can look that up later too. This format of sitting here talking to,
This room looks pretty secure.
talking on stream about one of my favorite movies, and
If we have to, we can run in here.
all new to me. So, if it's something that I want to do more of, then maybe I'll do a little bit more homework. This is all just shooting from the hip.
They're afraid of fire. I found that out.
But we're running at a little over 5,000 kbs. My sound levels look fine. Like I said, I'll have to listen to it manually to see if it's good as I think it is. It should be fine.
Beekman's Diner.
No drop frames. We're running at a consistent 30 FPS. I could run it at a higher frame, but we might lose some. And
Yeah, that's where I found that
I don't see the point of going past 30. And I don't think that's affecting the stuttering. It's not really stuttering, the slow.
I jumped in to listen to it.
I think it's the video quality of Night of the Living Dead that I downloaded. I'll see if I can grab a better version of it. They even make it. There's like a colorized version of it. I mean, there's tons of different, or tons of them. So I might grab the color version just for the hell of it.
I didn't see them.
Especially if we move on and start talking about other zombie movies, it would be nice to have just different versions of Night of the Living Dead playing in the background.
up to it.
That's really the only one I can play without getting in trouble.
Truck went right across the road.
I can do clips, and get away with it, and I can do like freeze frame, like pictures, stuff like that. So I can do, I can grab pictures, clips, little
I guess
segments of the other movies.
the driver must have cut off.
And I think if I do the second part of Return of the Living Dead, like basically Return of the Living Dead Part 2 or 2, I'll want to, because it's not as good as Return of the Living Dead, not as popular. It ran off just
Still, you're the man.
the studio wanting to do a sequel, super fast. They wanted to cater to a wider audience, so it's funnier than it's not as scary. It's more funny. But if we get to that point, I'm going to tear it apart, but the opposite way. I think Return of the Living Dead Part 2 is actually scarier than the first one. And not like they're all scary anyway. As far as people saying that it's funnier than it is, funnier than Return of the Living Dead, yeah, I can see how it is funnier. But it is also creepier too, and I'll eventually go into more detail why. Because if I had to think of which zombie movie gave me more nightmares, or that I have recurring nightmares about, it would be Part 2, Return of the Living Dead. Well, why? How's that possible? It's supposed to be the stupid funny one. We'll talk about it maybe if I get around to it. And maybe at the end of it, you'll understand.
They didn't move. They didn't run.
Where I was coming from on it.
Just stood there, staring at me. Just wanted to crush them. They scattered through the air like...
Yeah, so far we're running at like 22 minutes. That might be enough to try to break this one into little pieces. I'm going to give a lot of information, but if we can get down to like comprehensible 5-minute sections or something like that, might be pretty cool to have it set up on YouTube.
To put a wreath on my father's grave. Johnny and
No, Barbara, he's not here right now.
Some candy, Barbara. We didn't have any. And it's hot in here. Hot.
I definitely can appreciate the exposition. It does give
It's late.
some character background for her. She's gone. She's checked out, but it is telling you about her character, how she relates with her brother.
Johnny asked me if I were afraid. And I said, I'm not afraid, Johnny. And then this man started walking up the road. He came slowly, and Johnny kept teasing me and saying, he's coming to get you, Barbara. And I laughed at him and said, Johnny, stop it. And then Johnny ran away. And I went up to this man, and I was going to apologize.
Why don't you just keep calm?
And I looked up, and I said, goody. And he grabbed me. He grabbed me, and he ripped at me. He held me, and he ripped at my clothes.
I think you should just calm down.
Oh, I screamed, Johnny! Johnny, help me! Oh, help me!
Johnny didn't run away, babe.
Oh, he ripped.
Johnny's dead.
And then Johnny came and he ran and he fought this man. And I got so afraid. I ran. And Johnny didn't come. We have to wait for Johnny. Maybe we better go out and get him. We have to go out and get Johnny. He's out there. Please, don't you hear me? We've got to go out and get him.
Yep.
Please!
Gotta go get him.
We have got to go get Johnny! Please help me! Please!
Alright. I'm gonna kill this stream right now. I'm gonna see what we can do about breaking this into sections, stick it on YouTube or something.
Your brother is dead.
No! My brother is not dead!
Alright. You guys have a good night. We're gonna kill it right here. We'll have some more Night of the Living Dead for Halloween. Maybe during Halloween. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen.